Okay guys, so in this episode of Trading Indicators Explained, we're going to go over the Donchain channels, how to use them, how to scan for them, and how to find them and trade ideas. So as always, if you're interested in finding a scanning platform and program that you can chart these and scan for them, link is in the description below. That helps out the channel as well. So let's quickly go into these Donchain channels. Donchain? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and I certainly apologize if I am. As always, we go into the math. I go into the math because I think understanding the math is very, very important to make sure that none of this gets mystified for any of you guys, that there's no time where you think that there's magic or anything in these, right? Because all indicators are just mathematical derivatives of price and volume. So the question is, what ones will help you out with your trading plan versus what ones just don't service the way you trade at all? Long and short of this math is that basically the channels will plot above and below price, and they are going to mark the highest highs in X periods of time that you're able to specify and the lowest low of X period of time that you're able to specify. So here is how they look on the charts, with the thin blue lines being the channel, both top and bottom, along with how you can scan for this kind of thing within trade ideas. So we have this position and range filter. So let's do it for, say a month, and just to show you the example. So if you think of a monthly candlestick, basically the high of that monthly candlestick, when you're talking about a position and range filter, is going to be 100%. And the bottom of that candlestick is going to be 0%, with the middle being 50%. So if you wanted things that are close to the high of the Donchain channels, you would look for something near that high. So, 80, 90% of that position and range for that time frame. In this case, I went back 20 days, so this would be a month. So you can see that the blue line on the top would be the high for the month, and the lowest, or the lower channel, is the lowest low for that month. There's a handful of usages for this. The main use that I saw was actually just as a full kind of built-in trading system, which I've kind of put in here for you, where what you would do is, if you were looking to trade with the trend and you're doing what they call an end period breakout strategy, which basically just means you're going to buy a breakout of the 20-day range or the 10-day range or whatever on stocks that are trending, you would enter something like Tesla up here as it broke this channel. So this is the 20-day high right here, right on this little wick. You would buy it as it breaks a 20-day high. And then what they will do is they will actually trail their stop below that 20-day low, eventually getting stopped out of the trade at the 20-day low. The beauty of this that I find is that it kind of wraps the whole trading system into one pie for you. Now, no indicator is going to work by itself. It's not going to happen. But if you were to take this, and I use Tesla, you guys see a lot just because of the good trends that it had. But if you can identify a stock in a trend and something that you believe will continue higher in the trend, not only does this give you an entry, it gives you a stop loss so that you can calculate risk. And then it also shows you kind of how you would trail the stop to exit a system like that. Obviously, the tighter you make it, the more reactive it's going to be, both up and down. And then the wider you make it, the longer look back period, the longer it will take to trail up. It's a really interesting indicator. So let's go into the charts, into trade ideas, and how that would look. I've just loaded this up on a stock home, which is just something that I was actually watching back here and would have been interesting to take with this method. So the most detailed method that I found was to find when the upper band actually made a lower low. So you can see on through here, the upper band is just going higher and higher and higher. So this wouldn't really be an entry situation for most people who trade this. What they would do is they would wait for this period in which home made a lower high, and they would buy when it came from there. Now, your stop loss way down here. Again, that's going to be up to you. You could say, oh, well, I want to exit on an earlier basis or whatever. But then the same thing here on home on this period, right? You can see it's come down, and the first time it's kind of closed above the previous one was right here. So you would be long home here, and then your current stop would be up here, and you would just kind of, as time went on, wait for that stop to get hit. So it's interesting. I think 20 periods for, depending on your time frame, maybe a little bit too much, but you can actually go in the system and you can edit this. So let's make this, 10. So 2 weeks worth of data versus a month worth of data. Well, now you can see that things update a little bit quicker. So if you're a quicker trader, you'll notice that the look back period is shorter. And if I go into Tesla, you can see that everything's kind of tightened up from the stop loss point of view. We're right under the lows here. So very interesting. I could see almost using, even if you're not interested in using it for entries, I could almost see this being a cool way for my trading style, which is pretty short. But I could see this being a pretty cool way that I could trail stops. For example, you could make this something smaller, like a 5, and it's not going to matter much on this one, but you could see that it would keep you in the trade a long period of time. Now, are you comfortable with that amount of pullback? On this day, if it was at 678, your stop's still at 535. So for longer term traders, I think this is interesting. Of course, you can also use this on intraday charts. If you go into, say, a 15-minute time frame, you could see that if you were short Tesla in through here off this opening range breakdown, your trailing stop now has you right above here. Again, interesting if nothing else for the trailing stop metric, but that's how we use them, and that's how we have it programmed in the system. So again, if you're interested in all in this indicator, any of the ones that I talk about in this particular series, link is in the description below. There is going to be more in different types of videos coming on the channel. Until I talk to you guys next time, trade safe.